सोनाली डॉक्टर ना हे कर.
हो, मी युट्यूब वरती होते ना एक.
ओके ओके, मी बघतो.
हो, झालं, मी करते.
हा, नमस्कार डॉक्टर.
नमस्कार डॉक्टर.
डॉक्टर अनम्यूट करा, तुम्ही म्यूट वर आहात. अनम्यूट करा सर.
अनम्यूट केलं का?
ओके.
तुम्ही हे तुम्हाला पाठवतो, तुम्ही शेअर करू शकाल का स्क्रीन?
हा चालेल ना.
हो. हा, तुमच्या याच्यावर प्रेझेंटेशन पाठवतो, तुम्ही शेअर करा.
ओके ओके.
एकच मिनिट द्या मला.
हा ठीक आहे. कुठे
नितीन सर,
पाठवताय?
करा.
एक मिनिट, प्रेझेंटेशन कुठे पाठवताय सर? सर ऐकू येत नाही.
तुमच्या व्हॉट्सअपवर पाठवलंय.
ओके ओके, हा हा, गुड.
His battery is also running no problem. He is going.
ओके. So friends, so welcome all to this 12th Pushpa of Yoga Pushpanjali. And as per Yoga Vidya Niketan's tradition, we'll begin the program with 3 Omkar and a prayer. So for prayer, I would request Sonali madam to take the Omkar and prayer. Over to Sonali.
Is this the right one?
Thank you, Nitin sir. Namaskar, Dr. Neelesh sir, and good evening, everyone. Let us start today's Yoga Pushpanjali 12. So, we will start this Yoga Pushpanjali 12 with 3 Omkar followed by prayer. So sit straight, take your shoulder back and make your spine straight. Your chin is parallel to the floor. Now slowly and gently drop your eyelids. Your breathing is going normal and natural. For Omkar, we have to inhale fully for each Omkar. So inhale fully and deeply for Omkar. ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ सहनौ भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्तिः 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 Keep your eyes closed for a while and enjoy the positive vibration of Omkar and prayer on your body and mind. Now slowly shift your mind on your breath. Just observe your breath. Now again come back to your body. Feel the stillness, steadiness and relaxation throughout your body. Now gently open your eyes. Over to Nitin sir.
Thank you, Sonali. Namaskar and good evening, everyone. As you all know, that Yoga Vidya Niketan is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and as a part of this Golden Jubilee celebration, we are conducting this Yoga Pushpanjali lecture series. We all know that it's inevitable that all good things have to come to an end, and so this wonderful lecture series too is ending with today's lecture. आज सांगता आहे या कार्यक्रमाची. So far we have invited 11 eminent scholars to deliver lectures to share their thoughts on this virtual platform. We have made all these amazing lectures available on our YouTube channel for public viewing. Also we have been publishing gist of all these lectures every month through our monthly Yoga Varta, and both these things, these lectures as well as these write-ups, are now a treasure for all of us to refer anytime we wish. In this lecture series, we have touched upon various interesting topics, and today also we are going to listen to a very unique topic, spirituality in Ayurveda. Both Yoga and Ayurveda are part of our heritage and Vedic culture, and Maharishi Patanjali has given both the sciences to the world. Remember, spirituality should not be confused or misunderstood as religion, and we must keep this viewpoint in mind while listening to today's topic. As per our usual protocol, we will take a question answer session at the end if the time permits, and everyone is requested to type their questions in the chat box. We will take up all questions relevant to the topic. Now, without wasting your time, I would request Smita Madam to introduce today's scholar lecturer, Dr. Neelesh Korde. Over to you, Smita.
Thank you, Nitin sir. I hope you all can hear me. Good evening and
Yes,
my
yes.
humble namaskar to all those present in the session today, and a special welcome to Dr. Neelesh Korde. So we know that he is an eminent personality in this field. Let us know a little bit more about him before proceeding into the lecture. Dr. Neelesh Korde was very much aware of the greatness of Ayurveda from a very young age. A well-renowned Ayurveda physician who was patronized by the Portuguese regime in Goa was his relative, which is the best background that he had as a seed of Ayurveda was sown in him at a very young age, which was further developed by his training in Ayurveda, which was in Bangalore, Karnataka. Besides academics, Dr. Korde was always keen to learn more about the clinical application of Ayurveda and how best he could be of assistance in relieving the pain and suffering of patients. On completion of his graduation, Dr. Korde had the opportunity to specialize in Sharira Rachana from the University of Pune. Dr. Korde has been associated with the Gomantak Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya and Research Center in Shiroda, Goa for the last 30 years. In his capacity as a professor and the head of department of Sharira Rachana, he has ignited many a young mind to achieve excellence in Ayurveda. A multifaceted personality with varied interests in music, fashion, travel, and food, he had been an ambassador of Ayurveda not only in India, but also in UK and USA, where he has been practicing and teaching for 18 years. Presently, he holds varied of his positions. Let us go through it a little bit. So he is the director of Domain India International USA. He is the founder director of Ashwas India, a venture to train and promote clinical music therapy, an advisor for Alveda, a company from Switzerland, an international platform for Ayurveda doctors to give their service online and worldwide. Chairman for Sri Sai Swadhyaya Samiti, a spiritual trust in Goa, India, the president of South Goa Amateur Archery Association, a well-renowned academician idolized by his students and a skilled clinician revered by his patients, Dr. Korde maintains that he's still learning every day. I think that is the best quality a person who is a teacher as well as an expert in a field should have, and he is having it. I give my humble namaskar to you, Neelesh ji, to come as doctor to give us this detailed information about the topic. And the topic itself is a combination for us, very unique for us yoga learners, spirituality in Ayurveda. Sir, once more, welcome to the session and please continue with the topic. Thank you.
Good evening. And at the onset, let me welcome you all for this small session, which is rather something that is very much dear to me, and that is in both ways, spirituality as well as Ayurveda. You cannot separate these two things. Just as the same way you cannot remove yoga from Ayurveda, spirituality cannot be removed from Ayurveda at all. It is not a medical science, as I say, Ayurveda generally, but it is something that is been gifted to mankind for his own progression into the multiple lifetimes that he seeks. Could I have the next slide, please? Yes. Could the host please show me the next slide?
Just a minute, sir.
Yes, please.
Huh.
Yes. Right in the beginning, as you all listeners must be aware about spirituality or medical sciences or yoga, but still we need to ask ourselves this question: who am I? Where did I come from? Why at all did I come? And if at all I have come, what next? Who am I? I don't know who am I, whether it is this living body that I call myself, or that little quantum of an extra energy that I have within myself, which is responsible for manifestation of this entire body. Nobody knows where we were before this, whether I was in the Saptalokas, in which loka I was, on which part of the earth I was before I took this embodiment. Nobody knows. Well, why did I come? if you ask me this question and say, was it really necessary for me to take up this body? Wasn't I just happy without the body? Why was it necessary to seek this embodiment? Go through that entire process of being united by the sperm and ovum, belonging to my parents, and then entering myself into it and everything else. Wouldn't I just have been happy living up wherever I was? What exactly is meant for me to be doing in this body time, in this embodiment, in this time when I'm on the earth? And if at all there exists something more, then what next? Whether is this the end of everything? Or what is it that is in store for me next? The next slide, please. Yes. As you see, we are born, we grow up, go to school, achieve educational qualifications, then settle down into the marital bliss. You have different views about, having a house for yourself, having a car, and collecting all the material goods that would make our lives a little more comfortable. Then you expand your family, you have your children, and with all that later, you start collecting and being uh, involved with all these uh, fundas of life, which make us keep on collecting stuff. Little do we know that we are constantly in the process of aging, and then we age. And after we age, the last part is we die, we are interred, or we are cremated. Is this all that is there? Could I have the next one, please? Is this all that we are here for? This is what is my question for all the listeners today. Is this all? Isn't there anything more? What is it that is more? How do we get the human form of life? What exactly is life? So let us go to the base, and that is the creation. The next form is the creation. I would like you to hold on this slide and just see very carefully. Now, basically, Ayurveda is more related to the Sankhya form of philosophy, and that is why I have chosen this one because I find it very easy to explain. Let me take you to the phase wherein there was nothing existing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Just energy. And what you call that is the avyakta form, that which was not manifested, that which we couldn't see. That is called as the avyakta, or something that wasn't expressed or manifested. Just one unique form of energy which was just existing. The energy thought of expanding. We can call it sattva, or we can call it whatever is very, very good. The energy thought of expanding. And with that expansion, we had two different forms of energy that were produced. One is called the Prakriti, and the other one is called as the Purusha. Prakriti here is the feminine form of energy, and Purusha is the masculine form of energy. With that, these energies joined together and started growing further till you came across a time wherein there was no further growth possible. When there was no further growth, what happened next is the energy burst. The energy just burst open. How do I explain this to you very easily? I think all of us have blown balloons. And when all of us have blown balloons,
I hope he knows that the video and the audio is not on.
He knows it. Wait a minute.
Is it better now?
Your video is off.
Video is off?
Yeah, your video is off.
Okay. Yes. Is this better?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah. So we come to a point wherein the balloon bursts, and as the balloon bursts, what happens further? The structure of the balloon cannot be regained back at all. And whatever was that was accumulated within the balloon, that all comes out. And as that comes out, what happens further is that there is a change that has occurred. And the change has occurred with what? Production of sound, which is the first thing that happens over there. So as you come to a stage called as Mahan, you have an expansile form of energy that is formed, that bursts, and then you have something called as Ahankara, wherein the ego sets in, wherein you have each particle that goes ahead and says, I am something that is different from you. I have a different structure. I have a different quantum of energy. I'm someone who is different from you. Now we have the sattva, the rajas, and the tamas, which are the qualities of the mind. The rajas and the sattva together go to produce the five sense organs, which we call as the panchajnanendriyas. The five sense organs are the ear, the skin, the ear, the skin, the eyes, the tongue, and the nose. I have gone sequentially like this. The ear is the first one to develop, then the skin develops, then you have the eyes that get developed, then you have the tongue that gets developed, and finally it's your nose that starts functioning or develop this side. And along with that, you have the five motor organs that are formed. They are your hands, your mouth, your hands, your legs, your genitals, and the anus. Now, the rajas and the tamas go to form something that is very, very different. These are in relations to the human body. But when you go in relation to the entire production of the universe, the rajas and the tamas go to form the sound, the touch, the vision, the smell, and the speech. Now, these are called as the five subtle elements, or these are called as the Pancha Tanmatras. Now, you will ask me, what are you talking about this Sattva, the Rajas, and the Tamas? How do you quantify or how do you understand this? Let me give you an example that is very, very simple. The Sattva you consider as something that is pure, something that's beautiful, something that is eternal, something that is positive. The Rajas and the Tamas. The Rajas is an energy that is required to start any activity. It is the energy that one requires to start any activity. It is the energy for initiation of any activity. Whereas the tamas is the energy that is required to control any activity. So you have an energy that you use to initiate, and you have an energy that you use to control. Control, why? Otherwise, the activity would have remained forever. How does one understand this? Okay, we all have put ourselves through the process of education wherein we all learn. And when we all learn, what is it that we do? That you open a book, you read, you learn, and you memorize. Now, when do you have the capacity to memorize? When your sattva is at its best, that whatever you have learned has been memorized by your brain or has been taken up by your brain and your mind. Now, when you sit for the exams, what happens? You're supposed to write down whatever you have memorized on the paper. So the process of bringing the memory, bringing the knowledge out of your brain on the paper via the pen is the activity that requires initiation, and that is done by the rajas. Beyond that, now you on a question paper, you receive about 5 questions. And within the 3 hour span, you're supposed to answer these 5 questions. Now, if you're going to write one question only because you know everything about it, you will miss writing the other 4. So initiation is the process of rajas, whereas tamas puts a break and says, stop now. Your question 1, you have given 20 minutes or 25 minutes for that, you stop now. So we require these energies within us, which are present in our mind. And your mind lives within you, so these qualities also live within you. You would wonder that. But let me add to another example for that. If you want to gauge whether one person has got a good amount of sattva, or whether the rajas in the person has increased, or the tamas in the person has increased, you have a very simple task to do. And that is, we need to just guess. Let us do an activity which is like sleeping. I have to get up early tomorrow morning to start my day. I have to wake up at 5, maybe to catch a flight or catch a plane or catch a train. So if the person has got a lot of sattva, what is he going to do? He's just going to sleep and tell himself that he has to wake up at 5 in the morning. A person in whom rajas is increased, what is he going to do? He is going to constantly be waking up every hour. And then he looks at his watch and say, oh, is it 5 o'clock? Is it 5 o'clock? Early waking up. That's what happens when the rajas is more. And what about the person with tamas more in him? The person with tamas more in him, he is going to set an alarm. And once he sets an alarm, he is going to wake up with the alarm, but at the same time, shut the alarm and say, I'll sleep for a little while. These are the qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas that I could explain very basically, because we talk about these in spirituality and we consider them something to be something very exotic or something that is inapproachable as such. But these are something that we have in our bodies that we have been given. The entire production of this universe was governed by the sattva, the rajas, and the tamas. Now you will ask me, where do these live? Your mind makes up for the entire sattva. That is the best part. Whereas rajas and tamas come into your bodies for a very short time. And that is when you have a short spurt of anger, or that is when you have this lassitude about doing nothing. But it doesn't remain forever, excuse me. It doesn't remain forever. It remains for a very, very short time. And this very, very short time, that it remains inside is what initiates the activity. We are not continuously angry. We are not continuously lazy. We don't sleep continuously. The process of the mind is a continuous process wherein sattva works in the most time of the day. But rajas and tamas come in and go out and come in and go out. We need to understand this. Beyond this, now we have to say that the 5 tanmatras are the subtle elements that are born, and these 5 subtle elements are the formulae for the bigger elements or the Panchamahabhutas that are born. The Panchamahabhutas, or the 5 gross elements that are there, they are born out of this subtle formulae or the tanmatras, and they are the ether or the Akash Mahabhuta, the Vayu or the wind, the Teja or the fire or light, the water or the Jala, and the fifth one is the Prithvi. Now we have to have a small understanding that these are the elements that comprise the entire universe, and these are the elements that make up for every little thing that is existing, right from an atom to something that is very gross as such. We shall go into the details further. Could I have the next slide, please? Now, that is the way the entire universe has come into existence. The next slide, please. Yes. We go to the phase of pre-evolution. The pre-evolutionary phase is a state of inertia wherein we have the sattva, the rajas, and tamas in a state of equilibrium, and the union of two eternal entities, that is, the Prakriti and Purusha, come together, which goes to form the Mula Purusha or the An. The next one, please. The next one, please.
It is displayed, sir.
No, it's just
Push.
Prakriti. Yes, now here. Purusha and Mula Prakriti we have over here. The differences of that. Yeah, that is, if you look at the differences between the male and the female form of the energies, both the energies are eternal. Both energies, the Purusha and the Prakriti, are eternal. What we need to know is that the Purusha energy is the one which never gets evolved. It is aparenam, whereas Prakriti, that which will evolve. So point number one, we need to understand with our bodies over here. It is never the male energy that evolves. It is always the female energy that evolves. The third quality that you see over here is, it is called in Sanskrit as a prasava dharmini, that which cannot give birth. It is called as that which cannot give birth. And prasava dharmini is the quality of the feminine form of energy. That means it has the capacity to give birth. Now, though today in this world we fight for equal rights, we fight for saying that the female is equal to a male. Earlier it has been thought that the males are superior in everything. But if you ask me, and what my opinion is, the female form of the physical body is at a much higher spiritual state than the masculine form. And it is because it has its own ability to evolve itself. Now, the male body is the male form of energy is a repository for unbound awareness in a unified field of all laws of nature. Whereas the female form is undifferentiated primordial matter, stuff which is the primordial form. And if you see that the Vedic science identifies the Purusha as pure intelligence or pure consciousness, a non-material factor, that which enters the primordial form of matter to trigger off. So it is only the initiation of triggering the action that follows after it has triggered into manifestation, wherein you can open up, you can create, thus commencing the process of cosmic evolution. If the Purusha does not have the ability to trigger out this manifestation, the evolution wouldn't have ever happened at all. Whereas if you see the three form of energy, it is a state of least excitement of sattva, raja, and tama, a transcendental field of existence wherein no evolution takes place, but it waits to be triggered by the Purusha form of energy. Now, this might seem a lot difficult, but we need to understand that there are two basic forms of energies which govern the formation of the entire universe, which is also responsible for formation of my body. One is the male form of energy and the other one is the female form of energy. The male form of energy is responsible for setting up a trigger, whereas the female form of energy is responsible for evolving and creating another being out of itself. If this much is understood, you understand that basically the spirit is nothing but a form of energy which has got in abundance a lot to do, wherein it has to create, it has to sustain, and it has to evolve towards perfection. Next, please. Yes, as I spoke about the earlier evolution, Mahan means great. It is a stage of expansion wherein the Trigunas are unstable. Now, the Trigunas are the Sattva, the Rajas, and the Tamas. Now, these Trigunas are unstable. Now, once there is instability, it results in series of reactions conforming to a specific pattern. And when does this happen? It happens only in the presence of intellect or cosmic will in operation that satisfies the urge for manifestation created. How is manifestation created? It is created again by the disturbed stage of equilibrium of sattva, the rajas, and the tamas. If these were constantly in equilibrium, the sattva, the rajas, and tamas, we wouldn't have had creation at all. So sometimes we say that these rajas and tamas are bad for you, but they are not bad for you. They are very good. They are very good because they need to be in a balanced state as such. The next one. Yes, ahankara, ego, I, myself, I identify my individuality. And it is the phenomenon that is present with everyone. Everyone wants to be known as an individual. But when does that begin? It begins at the final stage of Mahan. And herein, when Mahan ends, uniqueness is finished. You were unique in everything. That part is over. And multiplicity is held aside. Yeah. Just excuse me for a second before I pause. Yeah, just one. The next one.
The next one.
Yes.
Yes.
The next one. The next one, please.
So this is the one
Is
you
this
want,
played,
the
no?
Sattva.
Ahankar is over. The next slide.
Sattva,
Sattva.
Sattva is
displayed.
on screen already.
Sattva is displayed.
Okay, Sattva is displayed. Yes. Okay. Now, Sattva. What does Sattva mean? Sattva means the essence that manifests in a phenomenon. It is something that is very, very good. It is something that is very, very good. It is something that is beneficial for everyone. It has the now it is only the sattva who has a tendency to manifest into something. It is only sattva that is responsible for creation of something. Such, yeah. And this sattva that is responsible for creation, yes, it is a medium of manifestation and reflection of your intelligence. It is devoid of negative tendencies. It has the tendency to stabilize rajas and tamas. And it is the purest form of energy. It is the most pure form of energy. The next one, the rajas. The next one, please. Yes, rajas and tamas. Yes, rajas. Now, Rajas, as I said, is a power of initiation, most dynamic form of energy. It has the tendency to do work or overcome any form of resistance, and the tamas as well. It is movement, it is activation. The next one is tamas, is inertia. It counteracts, it stops the rajas guna. It is the controller of movements, and within a limit, it is called as the energy for regulation. You need to understand this because we need to understand further the thing. Yeah, the creation. Sattva plus Rajas will give you the 5 sense organs of your body, the 5 motor organs, and the mind, which is evolved from Ahankara, coordinates all your physical activities as such. The next one. Now we have organogenesis. Why this sequence is set in organogenesis? If you keep tapping the slide, you will start individually the ears, the skin, the eyes, the tongue, and the nose. And if you see in subtlety what started with evolution, first, the big bang that was created made the sound. And with the sound, we had creation of something that is very, very subtle and very, very, it is spread, which is present all over. So the ears get created the same way as sound is created first. Then the skin gets created, then the eyes get created, then the tongue gets created, and the nose. If you see, this is the sequence in the production of the elements as well. The space is created first. After the creation of space, you have the creation of wind. After the creation of wind, you have the creation of the eyes. After the creation of the eyes, you have the creation of the tongue. And after the creation of the tongue, you have the creation of the nose. Now, when you functionally see what happens, as you are a fetus, the first thing that or sense organ to develop in your body is your ears. After that, the skin develops. After that, once you are born, the eyes become functional. Within the womb, the child cannot see at all. So once you're born, the eyes become functional. From the eyes, then onwards, the journey begins. The fetus, the child who is born cannot taste everything the moment he is born. He can merely taste something that's very subtle as such. So the tongue starts activation almost after a long time after the child is born. Initially, whatever you give the child suckles it up in. Yeah. And finally, after a year and a half or 2 years, the child starts to smell something. Now, if you look in the form of an atomic version of this, there is sparseness that is created first. The atoms are placed at a very sparse point from one another at a distance, just as in space. You slowly have density that is increased. From sparseness, you have the wind that is created, which you can feel on here. Though you cannot see it, you can feel it. From the wind, then you have the eyes that are created. Then you have the tongue. You have more dense, it's like the water that is created, which can be perceived by the tongue. And finally, something that is very dense, that is the earth that is created. Could you go further again, please? Tamas and Rajas, yes, they have this creation of the 5 subtle elements first, and then the 5 gross elements. I have already spoken about this 5 subtle and the gross elements. Move on to the next one, please. Yeah, the 5 subtle elements. We need to know these very much because eventually when I come to what I can carry from from this birth is the elements. I will show you how it is said in Ayurveda. Tamas charged by Rajas with specific units of energy produces these elements. Infra-atomic particles they are called. They possess definite physical characteristics which are packets of energy and appear in a specific order of succession. The next one, please. Sound stimuli. Now, we have the sound stimuli, and the sound stimuli has nothing but the physical energy. It's the energy of vibration called as the Shabda Tanmatra. The next one, what we have is the tactile stimuli or the Sparsha Tanmatra. It is seen where it has the physical energy of mechanical pressure. It is called as the impact of Sparsha Tanmatra. It also possesses the potential of the first in the latent form. That is, if you cannot see sound, but you can hear sound. Any one of you all have gone for a musical program wherein you have a huge sound box, and then like a pop music program or something which has got a huge sound box. And if you see that if you're near the sound box, you don't feel anything, but you can feel the sound waves beating on you. Now you know that the wind is not moving, but the sound waves are beating upon you at that point. So the first is sound, which is in a vibratile existence. The second one is wind, which has got both vibratile existence as well as it has got its own capacity of sensation of touch. The third one, the next slide, please. Potential of light stimuli, that is the that is the light stimuli, and that is the Rupa Tanmatra, wherein you can see it has got heat, light, color, and radiation. It possesses the characteristics of first and the second in the latent form. That means heat can be heard, heat can be felt, heat can be seen. The fourth one is the taste stimuli or the Rasa Tanmatra. Now, it can only be expressed when it dissolves with water. That is, you can sense the sense of taste only when it can be dissolved on your tongue over here. And it possesses the characteristics of the first four. And the next one, please, the final one, the Prithvi Tanmatra or the Gandha Tanmatra. It possesses the potential of cohesive effect of smell known as Gandha Tanmatra. It has got all the earlier four present in it in the latent form. Now, if you look at the sequence, you need to understand that sound is the purest form of existence. And it is only sound which has the individual existence. I am very well aware that you will find some of these very difficult to follow now. But as we continue into the sequence, you will realize why I am talking about all these things in relation. We need to understand creation first. And once you understand creation, you understand how you are created. And out of your creation, what is the most important aspect of you, which makes you different as such. The Panchamahabhutas or the five gross elements. Go to the next slide, please. Space is the subtlest form and the most rarefied form of matter, and it is vibrant. The next one, please. The Vayu Mahabhuta is the gaseous manifestation. It is responsible for movement. You may call it the electromagnetic field or the wave effect. The next one, please. The Teja Mahabhuta, which is responsible for manifestation of heat and light. The next one, please. The Jala Mahabhuta, which is the liquid form of manifestation, which is responsible for holding everything together. Its sense organ is the taste. And the next one is the earth or the Prithvi Mahabhuta, which is responsible for a solid manifestation, wherein you can see an object. You can see this pen because it is manifested in the solid form as such. The next slide. Yes. Now you need to understand from this slide that these five elements exist within one another, but everything exists in space. Now in space, you have got the wind. In wind, you have got the fire. In fire, you've got the water. and in water, you've got the earth. So all these elements, if you see, earth is the only form of element that has got all the 5 other forms of existence. And all these elements live within each other. Now, the Teja Mahabhut or the fire is responsible for conversion. Conversion of what? The space and the wind both get converted into fire. You will ask me how? We are converting energy to mass over here. For those of you who are following science, normally you see mass gets converted into form of energy, but when creation was there, energy got converted into mass. First was produced the space, second was produced the wind, third was produced the fire, fourth was produced the water, and then the earth. So energy slowly got formed into mass. What does the wind contain? Just go back, please. Yeah, what does the wind contain? The wind contains hydrogen, oxygen, which exists. The same when hydrogen burns, it produces energy and utilizes oxygen. So whatever were the components of wind have been placed slightly differently over here, and we have fire that is created. Now we'll use the same hydrogen and oxygen. What is the formula for water? I'm sure you all know it is called as the H2O. Now this H2O forms water was two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, which was present in the wind, which is also present in the fire, and which is also present in your water. So it is the same structural features which are present, but placed in a very different manner to gain all these forms of energy. Go to the next one, please. Yes. Now you will say the elements. How do you understand elements as such? Elements in their atomic structure. This is the structure of an atom that you see. An atom has got a structure, that is its element of earth. If you see, all these things are held together. These are held by the element of water, and that is the Jadamabhuta or the water element in that. The atom has got an energy form in that, the atomic energy. That is the Teja Mahabhuta in that. The atom, you see activity happening in the atom, and that is the electrons that are moving, that is the wind that moves, and that is called as the Vayuma. And the atom has got space in it. So if there is no space, the atom wouldn't exist at all. Now that is the structure of an element that we are seeing. Go to the next one, please. The structure of a cell as such. The structure of a cell, you will see, you have a nucleus, you have cytoplasm, you have the cell has got a structure that is seen over there. Now this structure that you see of the cell shows that it has got mass, it has got water, which is in the form of cytoplasm. The convertive factor is the mitochondria over there, which is present. The nucleus controls everything. It has got movement, and there's a small structure called space over there, which is called as the vacuole, which is present. This is the way you have elements added over here to form a structure, and these 5 elements form everything, whether life, living or non-living. The next one. Let me use the way of germination over here. You know, we all plant seeds. And when we all plant seeds, what do we see? That let us give one element less. If you do not put the seed on the element of earth, will it grow into a plant? If you do not give the seed water, will it grow into a plant? No. If you do not give the seed some light, will it grow into a plant? You give all the other 4 elements. If you keep it away from wind, put it in vacuum, will it grow in a plant? No. And finally, you wrap the seed up tightly in thread and allow it to soak and have all the other elements. If space is not provided, will it grow? This is the simplest scientific explanation of what the Indian philosophy of Panchamahabhutas or the elements is applied in even today's world. The next one, please. Well, herein we start with our journey. Prior to this, we all learned about the existence of the universe and its relation. Herein we start with our journey on formation of the human body. The union of sperm and ovum is called as fertilization. But is that complete? If that was the only thing, we would have been able to produce babies out anywhere and everywhere we wanted. If that is not complete, then why this unexplained form of infertility that is existing around? So what is the view according to Ayurveda? It says, Shukra Shonita Jiva Sanyoga. When you define Garbha, it talks about the union of sperm and ovum in presence of life substance, which is called as the soul or the Atma, where this journey of your spirituality begins. The next one, please. Now, if you will press the slide for the second time, just hold on for a while. What all is required at conception? You have a soul, you have a mind, and the Sattva Rajatama. I want you to go back again and repeat it. So, hold on for a second. Yes. The entry of the... Oh. Go back. Yes, hold it over here. The sperm and the ovum, that SRT, are Sattva, the Rajas, and the Tamas. These are the qualities of the mind. The soul, via the media of the mind, enters the zygote that is formed over here. You were wondering where the soul was before. Yes, it was not within the physical form. It was existing outside. But to enter the physical body, it requires the mind. And that's how it enters. The next one, please. Now you press it, and that's how it enters. Via the mind, and that's where it is. That's when the mind enters the body as such. Now, the simile used for this is fire using magnifying glass. That is, you can see the rays converge. We've all done this experiment, but you haven't seen the fire. You have not lit the fire at all over there. If you converge the rays of the sun, they fall on the grass and the fire starts by itself. That is the simile that has been used for understanding. The next one, please. Now you look at the components of the fetus. What all does the fetus contain? Something given by the father, something given by the mother, something given by the maternal diet. And finally, it contains some components which are put forth by the soul. The next one, please. What is the role of the 5 elements now that you see? The space creates space in the body. The air creates cell division. The fire creates the metabolism. The water maintains the moistening of it all around. And the earth gives space, shape to the entire structure of your body as such. The next one, please. Yes, we need to understand this very well. What are the factors that are responsible for the growth of what happens inside the body? You have factors which are contributed by the father, the mother, the diet. Now you have separate factors which have been mentioned, which are related to your mind, separate factors which are congenial to you. And finally, you see the soul plays a very, very important role in forming the body and who you are. And these are soul related. Let's go one by one and understand this. The maternal factors, the next slide, please. It is your skin, your blood, your muscle, your fat, and soft organs. These are all given by your mother. The next, your father gives you your hair, your beard, your teeth, your bone, your tendons, and your blood vessels. The next, let us see congenial factors. That is what are congenial to you. Those are given from freedom of disease, absence of idleness, absence of greediness, normal voice, complexion, constant happiness, perspicuity of sense organs, and a very high quality of oja. Oja is something that is very attached to your body, which is the essence of your body as such. If you have questions on this, I will answer them later on. I've just got another 15 minutes to complete this, so I give sufficient time for the question. The next one, please. Dietary. Your body is formed out of what your mother has eaten. It is responsible for the growth of your body. It is responsible for attachment of life. That means whatever, if life has to be sustained inside, you need to nurture the body, you need to give it food. So it has an attachment to life. It needs to be nourished, and it is not sufficient that you just nourish it. Otherwise, we would have just put in tubes but within our arteries and veins and tried to live. Unless you feel that contentment of what happens inside. You know, you eat something and you need to feel content, that satisfaction, that what is called as samadhana is required. Enthusiasm to do things. If your diet is poor, you wouldn't be having any enthusiasm at all. You feel that you are at a low form of energy and a good complexion. All these are dietary contributors to your body. The next one, please. Well, this is what I have marked in red. Here is what you have to understand where your spirit comes from. Birth in specific species, the spirit chooses where he would like to be born. You may wonder, why am I born into this Korde family? Or I also wonder, why was I born over here? Why was I not born as Ambani? Knowledge about oneself is related to your soul. This is what you question. If you have the ability to question where, why, when, what, it is the reason your soul exists inside. Your mind, your appearance. Now, the most important factor over here is your respiration. This is the quality of the soul. The moment the soul leaves your body, your respiration stops by itself. And with respiration stopping, all other activities stop. A specific complexion, you'll wonder, why am I talking about complexion? I've seen so many cases in which the father is dark, the mother is dark, but the child born is fair. Or the father is fair, the mother is fair, the child born is dark. The complexion definitely depends on the color which the soul produces out for itself. Happiness and sorrow, sukha and dukkha, are qualities of the soul. And desires and longings and hating something are also something that the soul is carried with itself. The next one, mind related, because the mind is also something that is responsible for creating your sense of longing for spirituality. Consciousness, retention power. Retention is not retention of anything within the body, but here we are talking about retention in perspective of buddhi, in perspective of the intellect. Your knowledge, your memory, that pride that you feel inside. And the last, your sense organs can perceive all the stimuli only by the presence of mind. It is via the sense organs you send the stimuli to the mind sends it to the soul, from where you get a response, and you send it to the mind back and tell whether the stimuli is beneficial or non-beneficial. A small example, you see a mango, and you see a mango, you've seen a mango, you smelt a mango, that which makes you feel good is the mango, and you have a knowledge of this which you've carried from the past, which past examples as such. Now, this entire complex feeling of good feeling by perceiving a mango is the the object is perceived by the mind, by the sense organ. Via the mind, it goes to your soul inside. The soul says, well, this is beneficial for me. Or your brain tells you this is beneficial for you. And the knowledge is passed to the motor organs to hold the mango, cut the mango, slice the mango, and eat the mango and feel the satisfaction inside. So though it seems like a very simple activity, you need to, if you're going to be looking forward for spirituality, you need to understand these perspectives, that you are blessed by something that is so unique. And these are your five sense organs, which you cannot trade for anything. The next one, please. Why take birth? Yes, as I said earlier, was it not enough that we were up over there? Well, this is what brought me towards spirituality, is a question I asked myself. Why is it that in human beings only we see these different levels of existence? Different levels of existence? Yes, you see a human being eating out of a five-star, or you see a human being digging out of uh, dustbins to eat or seek his food. Was God very partial to that man who eats out of a five-star hotel? And was God very impartial to this man? What had this man done to deserve this eating out of the dustbin? And what did that man do to deserve to be eating it from the five-star? Well, that was a question that led me towards spirituality. And that is what I speak about. Take higher levels of existence. Now, this is in human beings that you see. We have the lowest form of existence, though we have the same body, to a very high form of existence, which may not be from the material goods perspective, but from the existence of the saints. You have Christ, you have Paigambar, you have Buddha, you have Krishna, you have all these who have accepted the human embodiment with certain powers which go towards benefiting the other human being. So, what was it? Why was it necessary to create an existence? It is necessary because progression of your soul or the energy that your soul can derive or the energy that your soul can create is only possible when you have this physical medium of existence, when you have a body. And that is why, though you say this Deha is Nashwar, I will still say that this Deha is Ishwar. This Deha, yes, is formed out of occupying all the five elements. But without the presence of this body, you wouldn't have had the possibility of upgrading your spirituality at all. Next, the body possesses the sense of one moment. Please let me just move back. Yes, body possesses sense organs by virtue of which knowledge is gained by the soul. Now, that is exactly the reason why the soul has come into existence, is to gain knowledge about everything that the Srishti has become. And mind becomes a functional entity only in the presence of your body. Otherwise, as a soul, you could have meditated up over there and created your own existence over there. Because it is not possible to meditate by the soul alone without the presence of the body and the mind. That is why the soul takes or urges to take the body as such. Now you go to the next one. Now, how is knowledge derived? From the object to the sense organ to the mind and to the soul, as I spoke earlier. This is the pattern of derivation of knowledge. So you see, there are objects present, but unless the sense organs are active or unless the sense organs are stimulated, they will not perceive the object. Once the sense organs are stimulated, they will pass on the knowledge to the mind, and from the mind, the knowledge goes to your soul. And that is where the soul accumulates all of this. Next, please. What was the aim of life? Is to achieve the four Purusharthas, the Dharma, the Artha, the Kama, and the Moksha. Without this body, the last part is not possible at all. And that is why we need to take care of our physical bodies that have been gifts of nature. I don't know God, but I understand nature. These have been gifts of nature for us. And this body, as I went back and showed you how we came into existence, is formed out of all the sense organs. So if you would like to balance yourself, you understand which of your element requires to be modified the most, to be developed the most, so that you can carry it along with you in the most subtle form, so that in your next lifetime, when when you have this zygote that is formed, yes, these are they all the zygote that is formed can be fulfilled by all the other four elements which are contributed by the soul. Now we need to understand which are the elements of the soul and elements of the body. The earth and the water are the elements of the body. Whereas elements of the soul are the fire, wind, and space. You will ask me how? Just now I was the one to have said that everything in this universe is made out of these five elements. Well, if you see when a person dies, what is left behind is just the body. And the body possesses the element of earth because it has got weight and it is still held together by the presence of water in that. What escapes out of the body is the heat. After a while, the body falls cold, so the fire element escapes out. The wind, you don't no longer breathe. And all the spaces in your body that are there, your gastrointestinal tract, your lungs, the places where there is space inside the body, these spaces just collapse. And that is why we have said that you have the elements of the soul, which are fire, wind, and space, which are predominant, are move out along with the soul. And what is left behind with the body are the earth and water. Next, please. So when does one require to take a body? Who pushes? It is your Atma and the Karma that you see. Both of which push each other and finally go and accept the body. This will be a long topic to discuss. I will not go into this now. The next one, please. Okay, yes. Yes, what is the Atma? I cannot show it in the laboratory today. It is the smallest, as I understand it, that it is the smallest part of the Mula Chaitanya, or it is the smallest part of the Sattva that you see originally came into existence. It can never be destroyed and it can never be attached. And this form of energy which can never be destroyed or never be attached to anything is the next one.
You continue, doctor.
The next
Please
one, please.
continue.
Yeah. So I was extremely pleased when we started this lecture with the chanting of the Om. The Atma is called as Amitya Omkar because Amitya Omkar is an endless eternal Omkar, and that is why chanting of Om makes you all feel good. Chanting of Om balances your intellect. You have the ability. So before you start anything, if you chant Om, then the final production of that is the energy has the ability to balance your intellect, your sense organs, your mind, and your soul to resonate in unison so that you have knowledge that is created which gets absorbed. So what are the qualities of Atma? It is Shuddha and Sattvika. It's absolutely full of Sattva or the best form of energy and it's pure. It doesn't have likes and dislikes. And it is extremely patient. It is extremely patient. The next one, please. Why does it enter the body? It enters the body to gain knowledge of Srishti, and that is called as Deha Dharana, assuming gross existence. Otherwise, it is so subtle, it cannot work at all. So it needs to be in gross existence. So what do you mean by Deha Dharana? It means bringing Chaitanya into existence, bringing your Atma into existence. And why is it necessary? To accumulate knowledge of the Srishti or the universe around us. The next one, please. Yes. Everybody says that your Deha is Vinashi. That means your Deha or your body can be destroyed. I am of a little different opinion. I would say that as the Atma can never be destroyed, the Deha also can never be destroyed. You will ask me how? It is the same elements. The next one, please. It is the same elements which the same Panchamahabhutas which forms the body. After your death, they get assimilated back in the Srishti or back in the universe. And the same elements you use when you take a new body. You choose different elements. So the elements are the same. They have never been destroyed. Your physical body changes its form while accepting the elements into its required way. And then again, when it leaves the body, gives them back to the universe. So the next slide, please. It's like oil and water. In case it wasn't Avinashi, Atma would have never combined with the same. Like oil and water. Oil and water never combine with each other. However hard you try, they can exist with colloidal existence. But your five elements and your soul always combine with each other. And that is why they are said never to be destroyed. The next one, please. The body is formed by the dharana of the five elements, which are anaisargic. That means you eat food, which then goes towards production of the five elements. And the next one, please. They are produced, the Panchatanmatras and the Prankoshas. It's going to be a long topic, but you have to understand that the Panchaprankoshas are responsible for your birth and death into a particular stage of life. Yeah. And these form the Antargata Rachana, that is the internal body of your body, your speech, and your mind. Next, please. Now, how do you know that you have accepted a full body? Wherein your sense organs, your motor organs, and your mind work together. That is when you realize that you have a fully equipped body which is going to be helping you achieve higher spiritual energies and planes. The next one are the Panchaparan Koshas. Please take the next slide. These are the Annamaya, the Pranamaya, the Manomaya, the Vijnanmaya, and the Anandmaya as per their location, which cannot be seen but can be demonstrated into existence. And the next one, Annamaya responsible for nutrition. Next, Pranamaya responsible for karma avahan at the same time, which is Jagrut, which is responsible for keeping the body alive. The next, mind is responsible, or the Manomaya Kosha is responsible for understanding the Sukha and the Dukkha, but it is very hidden Kosha. It is a Sukta Kosha. The next, the Vijnanmaya, which is present over here, is responsible for working of your entire karma, and that is also Sukta. And the last one, Anandamaya, which is responsible for feeling that happiness, satisfaction. It is only when this kosha is opened up that you understand its existence. The next one, please. Yes. Now we need to understand where I'm living. I live in this universe. What is my life about? It's about the four-dimensional existence. Can I have the next slide? The four-dimensional existence that I have is I have a body, which has got sense organs, which has got a mind, and which has got a soul. These are your four-dimensional existences. The next one, please. Who is a living being? A comprehensive psycho-physical spiritual unit, which is highly dynamic and is in constant interplay with the universe. That means you are not only living by eating your food or drinking your water. Your soul has this constant interplay with the universes. The next one, please. Yes, we have seen this constantly as evolution. Charles Darwin stopped over here and said, up to Homo sapien. We started with Australopithecus, we started as a quadruped, went into a biped, into the different form as Australopithecus, Zinjanthropus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, and then we came up to a Homo sapien. But is that the end? Certainly not. We still need to evolve further. So dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, these four purusharthas, all depend on a very healthy body, for which arogya is the most important thing. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I know you will have a lot of questions on this. I hope so. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, doctor, for a wonderful lecture. And it was a very good lecture in the sense uh, all our students of this TTC course, I mean teachers training course and the naturopathy course, all this is within their syllabus. So they must have got connected very well. Undoubtedly, it was a very good. And then, as you started from the Sankhya and then yoga, that is the theory of this yoga. Yoga is a practical, Sankhya is a theory, and how you connected it, and then you started, and then how you went on evolving. It's very good, wonderful. So, for that matter, I would request, are there any questions? I don't see anybody has put any questions in the chat box. One second. Uh, so far, no questions. Nobody has put any questions in the chat box. 1 minute. One question is there from Neelam. So, 1 second. Now the questions are flowing in. So let me go through it. 1 second. The question from Neelam is that, uh, 1 second. How do we, is there any practice to strengthen Oja? That is one question.
Yes, ojas for existence, you would understand that it is produced out of as a final tissue after the seven tissues are formed. The seven tissues are the rasa, the rakta, that is the child, the blood, the muscle tissue, the adipose tissue, the bony tissue, the bone marrow, and finally the reproductive tissue. After your food has gone into all these convertive factors, the final product that is produced is the oja, which is a refinement of all these seven tissues. It is all dependent upon what you eat, what you drink, and what you allow to go inside via your sense organs. The food, the quality of what food that is cooked, what is eaten by you, that is well digested by you and gone into these transformative factors, as well as your state of mind, your state of emotions, and your practices of meditation are responsible for refining your ojas, thereby giving you qualities which are responsible for the best oja. Yes.
Huh.
So it is finally your food.
Yeah. And one more question from Dr. Amruta. She is asking, how can we utilize all this knowledge in counseling as a yoga therapist or yoga teachers? She's just asking. That is
Fantastic. It is absolutely essential that we have understood what we are, but the human being who sits in front of me is unaware of all these things. So simplify these things to him. For them, spirituality means something that you wear orange saffron robes and wear all the rudrakshas and sit outside and be away from your daily routines as such. No. Yes, it means you create another human being who has a potential to influence the other human being in a positive manner. So if you are able to convince us to the patient sitting in front that it is essential that he is conscious of what he eats, he is conscious of what he thinks, he is conscious of what he does, he is conscious of the people around him. It's basically keeping yourself aware, your mind focused, and your consciousness alert. If you are able to pass this on, and yoga is the best way of telling people how to do it, because that is when they reflect and they look at themselves.
yeah. One more question from our Durgadas Sawant sir, who is our vice chairman. He is asking, What among Saptadhatu refers to nervous tissue? Among the
Yes.
Saptadhatus, which is
The Majja Dhatu refers to the nervous tissue.
oh, okay. And one more question is there. Can you throw some light on rebirth with past karmas?
Rebirth with past karmas. Yes, it will be an elaborate topic for me to talk about. But if you remember one thing, that when you are born with five Runanubandhas: the Janma karma, the Janma Janmantar karma, Matru Pitaru, Itare Jan, and Devade. These are the five Runanubandhas you're born with. Well, Janma karma is what you're going to be doing in this birth time, which is already given to you. Janma Janmantar is of the past lifetimes that you have spent. Let us just take this, how you carry on the gunas. We have today's world, you see small kids who sing in the shows, wherein an adult who has learned music throughout his life may not be able to do it. How is that possible? Because he has already refined this quality within himself and carried it along with him forward as a positive factor that has influenced his life. So you have similar positive and negative qualities that are taken forward. That is what you refer to. So your past karma always comes along with you if you have not finished them. If you have a guru who has absolved it and done the vimochana for that, then you will start a birth with a slate that is afresh.
One last question I will take before concluding. That question says, are we seeking knowledge on specific subjects with the influence of Atma? That is
Yes, there is a connection. There is a connection. See, I will give you my example for that. I come from Goa, which had got no influence about Ayurveda much at all till my 12th, wherever I was. I had just heard about Vaidya, Dr. Dada Vaidya, who was my great grandfather by relation. In a little distance, he was my father's mother's uncle. Anyway, there is no other connection to Ayurveda at all, as such. When I had never learned Sanskrit at all. But when I went and joined Ayurveda in Bangalore, I was in the first year, I could feel that I can understand this Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, because for a person who comes from a 12th science background, who has not heard about these terms, and everything is metaphysical and everything is philosophy, it is very, very difficult to comprehend these terms. But those who have got a past in their past have been associated with this will find it very lucid and easy, because these are terms which are out of the blue, which nobody from the engineering faculty or other paramedical faculty would understand this. Right? But unless you have learned it in the past or heard it in the past, there wouldn't be an easy connection to learn something like Ayurveda, is what I feel.
really, sir. Uh, Now the time is almost coming to an end. So I would request Jaya Madam to give vote of thanks to you. So over to you, Jaya, please.
Okay. Namaste, doctor.
Namaste.
Actually, yes. This yoga and Ayurveda, like both are based on the Sankhya philosophy. And as a yoga students, like we were acquainted with this evolution process, how Sankhya philosophy looks at it. And then today you took us to the journey, like we got to understand the perspective of the Ayurveda, how they look at the evolution process. And you explained it so beautifully with the explanation of this concept of triguna you explained with those our daily activities examples that you showed, like writing the exam, like how the rajas gun triggers and these things, or even how the sound waves move. Like it's just small simple examples also, they gave us a good clarity. And then how life evolves. Then further you went after this evolution process, then you took us how the life evolved with the, and what is the role of this maternal and paternal or even the congenital factors in our formation of the body. And from the body you took us to the spirituality. What is our existence? What is our purpose? Why we have come here? And then again, when you said that you give us a different perspective look at the death. Like usually people have that abhinivesh, like fear of death. But here, like after death, you showed us like it's only the form changes. We merge again back to the Pancha Mahabhuta. So that was a wonderful journey. And then I'm very sure like we didn't understand how this time fleeted. Understanding this different perspective of looking at the evolution process, and again the spirituality. You connected the spirituality with this evolution process. So I thank you once again for sparing out your valuable time and sharing this information to us and explaining it in a very beautiful way. And thank you once again. Thank you, Doctor. And over to Nitin, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Doctor. As everybody, I can see in the chat box, a lot of people are thanking you for your wonderful lecture. It indeed was a great pleasure for all of us to have ended this amazing journey of 12 lectures with the insight on the spirituality in the Ayurveda. Yes, it was a wonderful journey. I am grateful to the organizers of Golden Jubilee celebrations uh, and the management committee of Yoga Vidya Niketan for showing faith in us for conducting this lecture series. Myself and my wife Jaya, we both are thankful to our team members, Sonali Madam, Smita Madam, and Shilpa Jain Madam for carrying out their respective roles most efficiently. We are especially thankful to Sri Durgadas Sawant sir, our Vice Chairman of Yoga Vidya Niketan, for his role in helping us in the initial phase of this series. We are also thankful to all viewers and Yoga Vidya Niketan friends and students who enthusiastically attended these lectures in a large number and motivated us to look for various interesting topics. We are also thankful to Sri Sridhar Parab, our former trustee and editor of Yoga Varta, for publishing the gist of all these lectures, which has now become a treasure. Every month, this has been published through our Yoga Varta monthly publication. So now I declare this Yoga Pushpanjali series concluded with a heavy emotions, but with a contented feeling in the heart. And thanks for that. Thanks to everybody. And before concluding, I would request Sonali Madam to finish this session with a Omkar and will conclude. Thank you very much, everybody. Over to Sonali.
You are not audible. Sonali, you
Sonali,
are not audible.
unmute yourself. Yeah.
This tradition, today's last Yoga Pushpanjali session with one Omkar. So keep your back straight. Just gently drop your eyelids. Observe your breathing pattern. Blessed to experience such a beautiful lecture. Now take a deep inhalation. Enjoy the positive vibration of Omkar on your body and mind. Slowly open your eyes. Thank you everyone for your love and support. We'll end the meeting.
Doctor, once again, and Yoga Vidya Niketan and your means our relationships will go on strengthening in the future. Thank you very much. So
Thank
we
you very
conclude
much,
this
all of you all, for
session.
this opportunity.
Yes.
I've been blessed.
And we
Bye-bye.
conclude this session. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. So we end
Thank
this
you.
session. We end
Yes.
this session. Thank you.